How long did it take you?
Um, well, it was an interesting transition because um, I didn't expect it. I think my expectations were up here, and then the reality was
Not
down.
good.
It was very nerve wracking, first of all. But I think out of all the numerous challenges that could be, I think me doubting myself was the primary thing I struggled with because it was like, first of all, I'm a woman in a field that's all men, and it's like, can I actually do what working? I kept thinking, I can't believe these people's lives are in my hands, and I was just like, okay, calm down, Busola, calm down, Busola. I actually, first day, I woke up early.
Hi everyone, I'm WOLE-OJOMO. Welcome to another interesting episode of All Things HR. All Things HR is the place where we provide expert perspectives on all HR matters in the workplace, as well as strategies on how to build a successful career, business, and personal life. I'm particularly excited today because we have a new segment on All Things HR called Career Conversations. On Career Conversations, we'll be speaking with people who have had interesting and inspiring trajectories on their career journey. Today, I have an interesting guest with me. I call her a big gift in a small packaging. Join me in welcoming Busola Momo. Busola Momo is a licensed pilot with licenses as a private and commercial pilot. Her journey in the aviation industry started in 2015 after she graduated high school. Despite not knowing how fulfilling a career as a pilot will be, she took the leap of faith and enrolled in aviation school, where she obtained a degree in aviation management. She currently flies a Boeing 737 for one of the leading international airlines in Nigeria. Busola has achieved all this at the young age of 24, and in spite of all the things Gen Zs have to deal with, she has remained focused. So, welcome to All Things HR, Busola.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I hope it's much better on land than in the air.
Same old, same old.
All right. Tell me, how did you get here? How did you become a pilot?
Well, I was graduating high school and I didn't know what to do with myself. And the extent to which I knew of women in aviation were air hostesses. And until my dad talked to me about being a pilot, and we went over it back and forth a bit. And then eventually, I went to flight school, tried flying, and the rest is history. We're here now.
So that means you had a lot of support from back home. Tell me about a bit about your background. How did that impact your decision making here?
A lot of it was, like I said, my views with women in aviation was very limited, and it was very helpful, especially in aviation, which is male dominated, to have had my dad, especially being a support system and backing me up with that. If not, I don't think I would have been able to have gone as far as I did. So having both my parents on board with the idea of, oh, your daughter is actually going to be a pilot. Oh, wow, this is actually happening, was very helpful and helped a lot, especially, having to bring out that much money for flight training. It's good to have somebody at least behind you with that. So
Interesting. When I first read about you on LinkedIn, I knew I had to have you here. So tell us, how did you transition from school, aviation school, to getting a job? What was the process like for you? How long did it take you?
um, well, it was an interesting transition because um, I didn't expect it. I think my expectations were up here, and then the reality was down here for me because I got out of flight school. I applied multiple airlines, and COVID happened. So there were so many factors that hindered me from getting a job right after flight training. Sorry, and so that kind of played a huge role in me not being employed for 2 years.
Was your search here locally or while you were
Locally in
Okay.
Nigeria.
Okay.
So applied to all airlines, and you know, it is what it is, because I can say I am luckier than a lot. It just took me 2 years, and for some it's taken much longer. So there's a lot of things that played a role. Like I said, again, COVID, a huge factor. That was 2 years down for the industry, and so finally we're here, employed. So thank God. But yeah,
So that means if, like you said, it takes a while for some people to get a job.
it does.
So you can give up somewhere in between.
It's possible, yes.
Yeah, but you
Yes.
didn't.
I
You
tried
kept
not to.
doing
I
it, yeah.
kept going.
All right. What was the first challenge for you? I've been quite curious since I came across your story. What was the first challenge for you when you started flying? What was it like for you? What was the experience like?
It was very nerve-wracking, first of all. But I think out of all the numerous challenges that could be, I think me doubting myself was the primary thing I struggled with, because it was like, first of all, I'm a woman in a field that's all men, and it's like, can I actually do what these men are doing? And everybody has their challenges, and I did struggle a bit doing flight training. It took me, for example, like 3 months to get past a certain stage, but getting past that was like, it almost was like a catalyst for every other thing just kind of moving a lot smoother and going a lot easier. So once I got past getting over the fact that I kept doubting myself that whether I can do it or not, everything else
So
just
your
became
first challenge was in your mind.
Exactly.
And once you were able to go past your mind, you were able to move quickly.
At
Fantastic.
least. Yeah.
Interestingly, you work in a male-dominated
Basically.
industry. What has the experience been like for you?
It's been very interesting. I have been someone who has been able to get along with everybody really well, guys really well. I was a tomboy. I know most people can't believe it now, but I was a tomboy growing up. So being around guys was not difficult, and so transitioning into a male-dominated field was not difficult. And luckily, they are so helpful. They would do anything for guys and for girls, and the industry is so small that everybody wants to help everybody else out. And so that has been my experience. It's just everybody's trying to help everybody else out, and they've been so gracious and so kind to be helpful
Have
with
you had
me.
any pushbacks at all at any point in time?
Not that I can think of, actually.
Okay.
Everybody's been very
No
Encouraged.
pushbacks in terms of, oh, this young lady, who does she think she is?
Oh,
Have you had any of those nasty experiences?
not from the industry.
Oh, okay.
Not from the industry at all. The comments I usually get are from passengers, and it's nothing too negative and nothing I'm not used to at this rate. It's like, is she the one flying us?
That's
Every
before
time.
the flight or
Before
after?
it's either when I'm passing the terminal building, walking through the terminal building, or before they get on the aircraft if they happen to see me, and it's just like, is she the one flying? And so at this rate, I'm so used to it now, but no pushback from the industry at all.
So first, let's give a shout out to all the males in the
Yes.
aviation industry. You've been a good support system
Yes.
to Busola. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And also the organization she works with. I think that's a good one for you.
Thank
You very much. Yeah. Also, so I want us to still talk about this. So when people are shocked that you're the one flying the plane,
Mhm.
has there been a situation where somebody has declined to say, no, I think I'm having a rethink on this flight?
On this one, not that I know of. Usually they're just shocked. They're like, oh, okay, and then they just go on with their day. Luckily, nobody has said they wouldn't fly with me, because that would have made me feel really bad. But everybody has been so gracious. So it's definitely, I think it is, I mean, I can't blame anybody. It is a shocker to most people and to a lot of people. So
What was the experience like for you the first time you flew
It was
an airplane with passengers, not just you, not in training,
I know.
with passengers on board?
It was very nerve-wracking. I kept thinking, I can't believe these people's lives are in my hands. And I was just like, okay, calm down, Busola. Calm down, Busola. I actually, first day, I woke up early. I was up so early. I was like, God, please just, God, please, let's just get to our destination. It's different when you're in training where it's just you and it's like, okay, your life is in your hands. But I mean, but thinking about that, all these people are relying on you to get them from point A to point B constantly. It's a lot of pressure, but you quickly have to get over it because you still have a job to do. So it's very nerve-wracking, but you get over it very quickly.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. What keeps you motivated on this job? What keeps you, or in life generally? What keeps you motivated in life that you have actually transferred to your job?
This will go back to the whole support situation. And luckily, I have supportive families, supportive friends who anything I say, the moment I start looking down on myself or feeling I can't do it, they're always there to be like, to re-encourage me and reinforce the positive aspects of, okay, Busola, you can do this, Busola, you can do this. So support has played a huge role. And I don't think I can actually say I got anywhere without God. So definitely trying to keep him center of everything I do has really helped me get to where I am. Usually, I don't know if this happens to anybody else. Once things start falling apart in certain area of my life, I know that my relationship with God, something's wrong. Exactly. So that has been a focus, and then having that support has been two things that definitely motivate me to keep going constantly.
Fantastic. Yes. Have you had family on board with you?
No, I haven't, unfortunately. I can't wait. I do want to fly my family, and because they're just so excited as well to do that. So I can't wait. I hope it happens soon. I hope it happens soon.
Okay, so how do you manage, considering the fact that you're a young lady particularly, the pressures for Gen Zs, social media, we're in that era. How do you stay focused and how do you keep yourself together? Your industry is not for just not for everyone. So how do you keep yourself together?
I would like to consider myself an introverted extrovert.
Okay.
If there's anything like that. I'm not the type to be out and about doing things I'm not supposed to do. And I realize that's really prevalent now. But since growing up, it's focus, work hard, play hard. Just as hard as you work, you can, if you want to play that hard. But my parents have always instilled in me that focus. Always have that focus. Right now, my job is what is important to me, so focus on that. My career is what's important to me, focus on that. When something else is the focus, you focus on that. So my days off, then I focus on having fun. I focus on that. But once it's work, you're in work mode. So again, back to support, back to my background. And having that, growing up, it's so easy to do that now, as an adult. So
how do you unwind? How does a pilot unwind?
I sleep. That's how I unwind. I sleep. A lot of times our schedules are sleep schedules get thrown off a lot. So a lot of times I'm actually spending a lot of time sleeping. And then once I get all that energy back, then if I feel like I do go out. But usually I think most of us will agree that the less interaction we're doing, the better. The more at home we are, the better. At least for us. Yeah.
That's interesting. So if there's any young girl watching this anytime soon or in the future, what advice, and the person doesn't even know what to do or wants to become a pilot, what advice would you share with her?
What would I say? I would say go for it, definitely. Definitely just go for it. And it would surprise you you know that saying like, what a man can do, a woman can do better. How much you can actually do when you're not doubting yourself, when you're not thinking about what other people would um how would I say this, would think, or how they would give you what is the word, how would they would oppose you, I think that's the word. I think aviation is so prevalently male, also because especially now where we can see equality and everything like that, because we women tend to overthink stuff that don't even bother guys half the time. You know, a guy would do something wrong, they'll be like, oh, okay, cool, and walk away. But we would think about it, we will marinate on that for so long. And it was something I also had to get over, because it's like, okay, get over it. So just go for everything you need to do and get over everything that you did wrong. And quickly you would see that you can probably do anything, and what a man can do, a woman can do 10 times better, trust me.
Okay. Do you have any special routines that you go through before you fly, or you take any flight at all?
Every day I wouldn't say special routines, it's just you just have to do it. So paperwork, definitely. You need to know where you're going and how to get there, and so you look at weather en route, weather at your destination, what approaches you can do there. You also make sure the aircraft is serviceable to fly. So always those three things always before every flight. So you do your paperwork, you check your weather, you check your destinations, you check your just everything that pertains to that destination and that route, and then make sure the aircraft is actually serviceable for you to use it. Then personally, I get up, I pray a lot, because how is it possible that I'm carrying this aircraft all the time? But so get up, pray. That's basically it.
So if you're in a room filled with young professionals, young graduates from aviation school, what advice would you give to them?
I think I would go back to
considering the fact that you're like 3-4 years in the making. I mean, you can't buy that off the shelf.
That's true.
So
just go for it. It's still, again, I'd say go for it. I know it's usually, how will I put this? It's usually hard, especially with, like I said, sometimes you get out of flight school and you have no job, you have no prospects even, but go for it. Just stay in there. And it's easier if you remain in aviation than if you go out of aviation to get back into being a pilot. It's just, like I said, go for it. I don't think I can give you any better advice than that. Just make sure you're always surrounding yourself with people who actually encourage this dream in you. I had family always, they always re-encourage me every time, because it was a long 2 years. Even though it was 2 years, it was a long 2 years. So having that, just always having that support is very essential. But even without it, don't let it deter you from actually just getting it done. Like, you're gonna be a pilot, okay? Don't worry, the world is not gonna end. You're gonna be a pilot.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
Do you have mentors?
Do I do. One of them, he is a captain now, actually, and I flew with him, I've only flown with him twice, and I told him, I'm like, you're so calm. And he's like, I don't understand. I'm like, you're so calm. Like, how are you so calm? Till this day, I don't know how. He doesn't know how. He's just so calm. And so I've looked up to him since then. And it's like, okay, you know what, Priscilla, you can just be as assertive without having to yell, or without having to impose yourself on everybody else, because that's exactly how he is. And so he's the one I look up to so far. And
within your organization?
Within the organization.
Is it within your organization?
He is.
Okay,
Yes.
fantastic.
So that's one. if I can't name all of them,
So
so I'll give you that one.
So you encourage anyone coming into the aviation industry as a pilot to have somebody who would help you on that journey.
Yes, you need it. You actually need it. If not, like I said, it becomes very difficult to pave a path that you want to take, because every captain is different, but and you get to learn. You're always learning on the job, so you always want to learn what is right and what fits you as a person. Some captains I fly with, we just have different approaches to different things. So I can't really pick up things as easy as he's going to pick up things, or I can't pick up what he wants me to do as easy. But if you give it to me the way I know how to do it, it makes flying it in the cockpit and the synergy in the cockpit a lot easier. What is it? What's the word? Easier. I don't know.
Yeah.
English.
Okay.
But yeah.
Synergy in the cockpits, that came up now. So what is it like? What's life like in the cockpit?
Very boring. But usually we have something called CRM, which is crew resource management, and it isn't right for any one person to know what's happening and the other doesn't. And so CRM it's a new term, but not so new term. It's always been there, just the same way you have to. Teamwork, is the same way in the cockpit, except, you have more people, that depend on you than as opposed to if you were doing a regular desk job. But it's really important, because once synergy is broken down, it becomes very difficult to do things together, because you're always using the other person. And using is a bad word, but you need to utilize. Exactly. You're depending on that person as much as the person is depending on you. So it doesn't matter how you feel when you left home. You leave that at the foot of the aircraft and come up and make sure that both of you are able to work together properly, and there's actually communication, because if not, that's not really helpful for anybody, I don't think. Yeah.
Fantastic. One last word for anyone out there.
This is going to be so repetitive, and I'm so sorry, everyone out there. Go for it.
I think we can say it together.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, I think that's the only thing I can say, especially in a climate like Nigeria. It gets very difficult, I know, but go for it. That's really the best advice I can give anybody, and yeah, that's it.
All right. To our guests, I want to believe it's been an interesting and inspiring conversation we have had with Busola. I mean, when I first came across her story, I knew I had to speak with her. It was intriguing. When I saw her picture, and I was like, wow. I mean, exactly the way she has described it, I was like, wow, she flew this plane. I have to speak with her. And it has really, really been an inspiring one. The conclusion of it all is that, or the crux of it all is that, whatever it is you want to do, one, have the right network of people around you. She has that from home. She has that from work. Her industry or her colleagues have been quite supportive. She has that right network working with her, and she's looking forward to a bright future within the aviation industry. Secondly, she hasn't allowed her mind or anything else to hold her back. She keeps, as in her words, going for it. She uses it every time, and I believe that is what guides her in her own career journey. So go for it. Don't let anything hold you back. Thirdly, I mean, she had a 2-year gap between finishing her training and getting a job. Anything could have gone on. She could have changed her mind. And she says she didn't allow that hold her down. She kept on moving. She kept on going. And one day the door opened to her. And today she's successfully flying a 737, carrying people from one point to another. So you can do it. If you're out there and it looks like things are not just looking the way you think it should, I would say in the words of Busola, don't give up, go for it. And on that note, I would like to say a big thank you to everyone for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you're notified every time we upload new videos. Also, don't forget to like and to share this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.